If you grew up on Windows XP or Windows 7, also known as the best Windows, because that didn't need to update every 5 seconds, then you have more than likely played or at the very least heard of Purble Place, as it came packaged with the older Windows systems. Those big blue eyes definitely caught your attention much more than boring old Solitaire did. Purble Place was a collection of 3 minigames, those games being Match 2 Cards, whatever the fuck this guessing game is that to this day I don't really quite understand, and of course the infamous Cake Factory sim, where the cake would go down this conveyor belt and you would have to construct the cake to match the image on the top left. As you turn up the difficulty, the more elaborate the cakes would become. All of these games stars the Purbles, or at least that's what I think they're called, that's what Reddit calls them. We have a good look at 2 of them, that being the doctor and also the manager of the cake factory, who definitely gets paid much more than you to do infinitely less than you. You can also construct your own Purble in the guessing game, but no matter what, they always look like the faces that talk to me from the dark corners of my room. The horrors of this game come in when you try to find out about who made the game, as it was pre-installed on Windows and lacked any credits. Internet sleuths tried to dig up any information on the developers, but have been unsuccessful, and all roads lead to a dead end, leaving everyone to wonder why exactly the developers don't want to be associated with the game. Probably because Windows made them sign an NDA. It's been years, and my craving for more Purble content has died down. With missing developers and the only clues leading to Microsoft, I've all but accepted I'll never get more Purble content. Until I saw an ad on Steam for an all too familiar game.
Do you like baking cakes? Then it's your lucky day. With Comfy Cakes, you get paid to make beautiful cakes. Make the requested cakes using the machines. Everybody is welcome.
Booting up the game, we are greeted by the interior of Comfy Cakes Incorporated Cake Factory, only this time in 3D. Fancy.
A 40 megapixel non-drop digital masterpiece of technology. Yes, everything's new. New is better.
Everything else is the same as before, though we use E and Q to move the cake back and forward while deciding the cake shape, flavor, icing, and topping. However, the third cake's PNG seems to be slightly off, and getting the order wrong will result in an interesting effect, as well as music being cut off, leaving us in complete silence. We continue to make cakes so our overpaid manager won't get mad at us, and brush off any HR concerns like a good minimum wage employee would. When the order screen breaks and shows nothing, I then proceed to make the most beautiful cake in existence before it gets thrown out, probably for wasting company resources, and hand the customer no cake, just like my boss would want me to. I proceed to go back to my job when, while I am making a cake, the order screen glitches and tells me that I have once again wasted company resources. My paycheck is not looking too good, guys. Maybe support me on Patreon. We proceed to go back to work, ignoring the faulty equipment. When the game suddenly restarts in a much more smaller window, I'm unable to exit the game. Take note of this, it is important later. I try hide the window and reopen it, which the game then punishes me by making me continue the segment in negative 144p. The game also refuses to spawn cakes or refresh the screen, which is easily fixed by manually doing so by these file manager text bar things. I don't know, I'm sure the people of Windows 7 would love to correct me on what they're called. There is also a text saying escape the simulation, which we'll come back to later, like every good long form video does. After I complete making my low-res cakes, the window closes, my wallpaper begins to glitch out, and the game reloads. After reloading the game, we have now awakened in a vast cosmos, surrounded by fruit and giant eyes watching our every move, just like our managers. We can now also move left and right. Going forward, left or right will result in a screen glitch, preventing us from going any further. We can also see boxes marked TVP and a button for a donut topping. Going back to the workstation, we make another cake, this time adding our new donut topping, and then we get transported back to our normal setting, also losing the option to add donuts to the cake. Very sad. From here we can do 2 things. Continue the never-ending loop of making cakes like we did as children, ignoring the crumbling reality around us, like when our parents were getting divorced.
We're married. How am I not in this?
Married, Skylar. We're divorced.
or we can escape the simulation. Next time the game glitches us into a small window, we actually have the option to close the window unlike before. This results in the game being buggier than ever after restarting. Glitching effects flash the screen constantly, almost like part of the game is unfinished. No music can be heard either, not even the empty silence before, just an audio bug on repeat. Completing just one cake will result in these strange vials of purple, pink and green liquid erecting from the ground. After this, a high-pitched sound will be played and the game will bug out and the illusion is shattered. You realize everything around you is just a screen. Taking a step out, you see a strange drawing on the wall, a red frowning face next to the number 15 and a green happy face with the number 0. What this is unclear, but my theory is it's the amount of players who broke out the sim compared to the amount of players who remained in the sim, in which case the sim is not really good. Going further down the hall, we see cake toppings, packaged cakes and cake trays, and more TVP boxes scattered around. On the table lies a newspaper reporting that 2 people have gone missing after trying to raise money baking cakes, with more potential victims, and a subheading saying what we know about Comfy Cakes Incorporated. There's also a drawing of a young lady with a strange tattoo etched into the wall, surrounded by heart toppings, followed by a man with his lips stitched shut holding a packaged cake. We notice we are not alone when... And that's where the demo ends. I encourage you to check it out on Steam, it's called the OG Cake Factory, as well as give any constructive criticism to the developer as he does encourage this himself. I think the idea behind this game is fairly interesting due to Purple Place just being a forgotten memory shoved into the deepest, darkest parts of our mind until we see something that unlocks our memories. But maybe our memories weren't all that innocent.